Big screen or big stream, cinema or sofa, which one are you going to choose to spend your hard-earned money at for your entertainment purposes? That's what we're here to help you figure out.
Let's get ready to rumble!
My name is Tosin and I am the host of the podcast that is trying to finish this stuff off quickly because England is playing Argentina and I know some of us are watching it and some of us are setting stuff up so that other people can watch it. So we need to get out of here in half an hour. And joining me as always on the Isle of Wight is Sean Harris. Yes, Sean, I can see you wearing a Bournemouth away top, right? Am I right about that?
That is right, yeah, it's a Bournemouth away top. Yeah, it was what was to hand, because I've just been in my shorts and I hadn't had anything on top, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the blog, and I didn't want to show you my hairy, horrible body, so it was the first thing that came, it was on the back of the chair, I thought, oh, I'll put that on.
Okay, Sean, while all bodies are beautiful, and while I don't think that there's anything horrible about your hairy chest, I thank you. I thank you for putting that shirt on. Thank you very much. So it's like, and also joining us on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bolland.
Hello.
Hello, Sharon. This is like what we've got into 2 months of you looking for Muffin, your family's dog.
Yeah, it's been 34 days since he's been on the run, but he was seen today, and they're going to do another attempt at trapping him today. So we think maybe tonight is the night. We'll get our little doglet back.
So if you're on the Isle of Wight and you happen to see a small Dachshund chasing a chicken, please do let us know because that's most likely Muffin. And also joining us from London is our London correspondent Holly Nesling.
Hi.
All right, cool. And now we're just going to fire straight to this thing because I said we only have half an hour. What have we seen at the cinema? Sean, go.
Evil Dead Burn.
Evil Dead Burn. Sharon, go.
Nothing.
Holly, go.
Nothing.
All right, cool. And I have seen Minions and Monsters as promised, yeah. And yeah, interesting things about this one, Sean, you'll see. Okay, and what have we seen at home? Holly, go.
Riptide on
Riptide.
Channel 5/Netflix.
Yay. Sharon, go.
One episode of Clarkson's Farm, so nothing.
Nothing. You're just here from a respite of trying to track a dog through undergrowth.
In my defence, we tend to go out to start looking for him at like 8:30. So before 8:30 is not the time when you sit down to watch telly, and we go out between 8:30 and normally midnight every night. And so when I come back, it's not the time to sit and watch the television, and then I'm working or doing other things. So my life has been Paw Patrol. And I haven't been able to go anywhere or see anything. I managed to have one escape. I went to a live concert, but that was my only reprieve from dog hunting.
Sharon, you should write yourself a quick screenplay about the escape of
Muffin the little blighter, yeah.
Muffin's escapade.
Yeah, I think we were workshopping titles for that. I know we had Run Muffin Run.
Well, I'll tell you, I was sat at midnight in a farmer's field. We had their permission, about 6 feet away from where his father's been buried up on the land. He's got a little enclosed grave up there where his dad's buried. And it was a perfect spot, actually. So I was there with my camp chair, my tin of sausages, an old pillowcase and a sweaty old T-shirt, anything that would sort of, very smelly stuff to sort of what would attract a very small dog. And I was sat there till nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, just trying to sort of draw this little puppy dog out to me. That's been my entertainment lately, is just sitting, communing with nature and learning how to use infrared and thermal cameras.
Right. Okay. We hope Muffin makes his way back home soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
And now Sean, what have you seen at home?
Yeah, I've seen, in the vein of Mad Heidi, I've seen a movie called Dick Dynamite 1944.
This this is it. It's kind of like, I mean, I've said it before this podcast, but if for those of you who remember Blockbuster, there used to be a time when Blockbuster had this bargain bin, and you used to find films with titles like that on the in the bargain bin. And I feel like Sean, because Sean mostly does his streaming on Amazon Prime nowadays, and I feel like Prime has just got like, I think Sean just goes to the bargain bin on Amazon Prime, is like, what we got? Ooh, Dick Dynamite 1943.
That's about it. Yeah.
So I reckon that's what Sean does. That's what Sean does. All right, cool. So that's what we've got, and let us kick off in cinema. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna kick off because I think this is gonna be the big one. Is Minions and Monsters. Minions and Monsters. And this is a film, like, if you've paid any attention to the Minions, you know that it started off with Despicable Me. So Steve Carell voicing a character called Gru, and he has this little yellow things that there was no explanation for. These little yellow creatures, some of them have 2 eyes, some of them have 1 eye. They're all yellow, they all wear blue dungarees. And there's no explanation to them whatever happened. But they became the breakout stars of Despicable Me. And so, obviously, once they become the breakout stars, they have their own films. And so this is now the 3rd Minions movie, which is Minions as a standalone thing apart from Gru. Even though the first one is kind of like Gru, the early years. I mean, the second one that was Gru, early years. And in this one, you have the whole idea about Minions is that they're these small yellow things who have their own language, which is kind of a combination of English, Spanish, and French, I think, because sometimes when they say stuff, you actually understand what they're saying. And they just go around like lemmings around the world looking for the biggest bad guy to serve. And they just go, "Big boss! Big boss!" And then they find the big boss, they serve him, but usually what happens is that through the service of the big boss, they usually end up causing the big boss's demise. And that's kind of like the roadie thing with Minions. And in this one, you're introduced to these Minions, but there's this one called James. There's a Minion called James, and he has these dreams of telling stories and everything like that. And essentially, he wants to be a movie maker. That's what the whole thing is. And so they come up with this whole idea where, hang on, okay, cool, no problem. I thought I was getting an echo there for a second. And they come up with this whole idea where the Minions end up in Hollywood. But not just any Hollywood. These Minions end up in Golden Age Hollywood. So we're talking like, Marilyn Monroe. We're talking like, Orson Welles. We're talking that kind of area of Hollywood. We're talking even before that. Because, Sean, there were bits of this I was thinking like, actually, I think Sean would really, really like this.
Yeah.
Because they do a whole, essentially when they arrive in Hollywood, it's the silent era. It's a silent era of movies. And there's all these in-jokes. They put a lot of in-jokes that I think only a cinephile would get. So there's bits where they get there. There's this whole sequence where they go through and in the space of something like 30 seconds, they do something that's a Charlie Chaplin thing. They do something that's a Buster Keaton thing. They do something that's a Harold Lloyd thing.
Wow. Like little scenes from some of them silent movies type of thing.
Like little scenes from some of those, like the most famous scenes from some of the most famous films. Like if you think Harold Lloyd, there's one scene you think of about him. If you think Buster Keaton, there's one scene you think of about him. If you think Charlie Chaplin, there's quite a few, but there's one really famous one. Right. And they go through all these things in such a way that they sort of insert the Minions into it in a way that I think only a cinephile would like. And I'm just kind of watching this going, there is some real cinema knowledge going on here. There's some stuff that they do that is all about, the George Méliès trip to the moon thing and everything like that. They do a whole Minions take on that. So there's this weird thing where you're going, what? Because kids are not going to get this. Kids are not going to get what's going on. Kids are not going to realize that that's Charlie Chaplin. Kids are not going to realize. But through random reasons, as always happens in Minions movies, they end up in Hollywood. And that bit at the beginning, I'm thinking, okay, it's good because this is a film that takes ages to get to the point. It's kind of like you start, okay, cool, we got the Minions, okay, cool, all right, okay, oh, well, now we're going, okay, wait, what the heck's going on? And then it ends up that they end up, they even have a bit, you know how they in Hollywood, the history of Hollywood, when they transitioned from from silent movies to talkies, it ruined a whole bunch of careers. Yeah, and they even go on a whole bit about how transitioning from silent movies to talkies ruins the Minions' Hollywood career. And I'm like, this is so inside baseball. This is so kind of clever in what they're doing. But then the rest of the film happens. the rest of the film happens, and the rest of the film is not. It kind of like goes, okay, I don't know. I mean, Minions movies at the best of times, they're throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and they're seeing what sticks. But this one is particularly, they're throwing a lot of stuff, and after a while, it just stops sticking. It just stops sticking. It stops sticking, and then the final act just looks like something out of. It made me think of the Suicide Squad, the version of with Idris Elba in it. It seemed to be just that all over again. All in all, I feel like this is a 3 out of 5. It's a. I would recommend going to see it at the cinema, and I think even for someone like you, Sean, I know you said that you think you find the Minions really annoying, and you didn't want to go see them. I would still say the first half an hour of the film will have a lot for you in there, but then after that you might want to leave.
Right. So comes the question then: cinema or streaming? Because this sounds like something I might catch up with it on streaming. You telling me that?
Yeah, I think on the whole, I would say you could wait for it to come out on streaming,
right?
Because it's the Minions, so it's not like some other films where you don't know whether it's going to show up on. It's not like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, where you don't know what's going to show. You know, Minions is going to show up on streaming somewhere, and I think when it does, I would say catch it on home.
I think there was a film with on about that didn't go to the cinema. There was a film that I really wanted to see called Something House with Rupert Everett or something like a black comedy thing. Anyway, sorry, no, I'm digressing again. Forget it.
Yes. We have 30 minutes. Let's move.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now let's go on to Holly. Holly, tell us about Riptide.
Okay, it's a nice and quick one, this. It is a TV series that I saw on, I think it was Netflix, but it was originally a Channel 5 series. It's 4 parts. It's set in Australia in a location that may or may not actually be specified, but I don't remember. I think it might be near Melbourne. And there is a British woman married to an older Australian man, and clearly has an uncomfortable relationship with his son, as he left his wife for her. But they are very happy, madly in love, all of that jazz. She has a teenage daughter, and they are, getting on, setting up their lives together in a very beautiful, very fancy house, and he's clearly very well to do, and this is all lovely. And the daughter is struggling a bit because she's moved schools and she is a teenager, which is obviously not very much fun, and it all is looking wonderful, apart from, she has a bit of a fractious relationship with her rather overprotective ex-husband, but everything is fine, except one morning he gets up to go surfing and he doesn't come back. And the question is, what has happened? Has he been, hence the name Riptide, has he been just lost at sea, or has something sinister happened? And the 4 episodes go back and forth over, has something sinister happened to him? Who might have done it? The son is looking to kick his stepmother out of the house that she lives in. So it's all very complex, very toxic familial relationships. And you are left guessing for a good slug of it. Not all, but a good slug. It's got some decent twists and turns. I did not predict the end because it's a bit out there. But it was an enjoyable, albeit not terribly good watch.
All right. Well, the thing is, I don't know about you, but I do have some sort of Channel 5 snobbery. When they say something originated on Channel 5, I do think, well, it can't be that good then. So how many? Did you say how many stars you'd give it, Holly?
I didn't, but I'm giving it 2.
2, yeah. It's. I mean, I'm sure there's some good stuff on there. I mean, not everything can be rubbish. But I
have seen reasonable stuff on there. I'm not going to say good, but definitely stuff that's not bad.
It's getting better, I think, in quality terms. Channel 5. Yes. You get some little hidden gems on 5, I think.
I mean, the bar was pretty low because it's managed some truly abysmal things over the years. But yeah, I think this is a couple of years old, so it's slightly further back in its improvement. But it's you've got some time and need something a little bit mindless that's a bit of a detective type thing, then it's a perfectly reasonable option.
I mean, I have heard that they've rebooted Play for the Day, or Play for Today, which is, they started doing that on Channel 5 again. So apparently that's actually some of the most high quality stuff on there. But I never saw the original Play for Today, so yeah, never mind.
They used to have some sort of, some of them were really, really good, I remember. A lot of them black and white. So I remember them being on TV because it was quite late. They used to have them on about 9, and I think, the Play for Today, some of the titles were, if I remember, it was like a bit of a... But yeah, anyway. I think Abigail's Party was on there once.
Yeah, that seems to be the famous one. But from what I hear, Play for Today on Channel 5 is possibly some of the highest quality stuff on there. But generally, right from the time when Channel 5 started, and you were just known for, they just show porn. That's all they do.
I don't think they do anymore, because they're now the home of like all creatures great and small. But they did start off that way. But I think they've become a bit more focused on quality.
Was that Eurotrash and
no? That was Channel 4.
And top, pardon?
That was Channel 4.
Oh, it was Channel 4. Right.
Vanzai Eurotrash was Channel 4.
Right.
I do remember that there was one thing that I saw on Channel 5 when it first started that made me laugh so hard. So Channel 5 was talking about all the stuff they were going to show, and they were going to be like, my weekend with new disc metal detectors and stuff like that. And then but the tagline was, if this was on Channel 4, they'd call it art.
No.
And I was like, well, yeah, not too far from the truth. All right, cool. So let us move on, and let us go back to cinema, and let us talk Evil Dead Burn. So, Sean, you saw Evil Dead Burn, the 6th entry in the Evil Dead franchise, which is going all over the place and just seems to try and cause people... Like, I think that they start going more towards the gnarly end of the things. There's a lot more gory. It's a lot more... Essentially, a lot more wince-inducing stuff when you watch it. And just almost... It seems like they're designed to almost give you a heart attack. But what's this one like?
Okay, well, I watched the other one, and I think I gave that a 3 star. This one is right. Okay, so I don't care how spoilerific this is, but I'm going to tell you that.
Okay. Warning.
No, it won't be that much. But what I'm going to say to you is, people, I don't care, are not going to take the punishment that they take there. If you got people being thrown against walls and crashing into cupboards, and with serious force to sort of shatter the plaster. You're not going to get up and run away, are you, or crawl away or whatever? And I'm like, it's like the Superman movies, like the Marvel movies, where like the Hulk beats Loki, and but then the person gets up, and it's like, get out of here. Anyway, so the film basically is this is how it starts off. You can guess where this is going to go. So it starts off with like two couples. And one of the couples, the guy's a bit drunk, and he's obviously not getting on with his wife, and anyway, one cut short, and he drives her off drunk, and something appears, and he has an accident, so he dies. And then it gets to the funeral, and this boy's parents turn up, and they don't particularly like the girl, and they all decide to go to this house, the house that they were given from ages ago. Oh yeah, but. Anyway, this is where they were at the cremation, so the body's being cremated. The dad says to the cremator, I don't know what they call them, cremators? Do they call, Sharon, you might know, what do they call people who do the burning of the bodies? Anyway, the crematorium assistant or whatever, the person.
Yeah.
And he goes,
the cremators.
So the person who's dead, the lad who's dead, is the dad comes up and he says, can I get 5 minutes? Can I have 5 minutes? He goes, yeah, right then. And then something happens. There's like this big mayhem. The mortuary assistant bloke comes in. He goes, "What's going on?" Gets ripped to pieces, and then they end up driving. The whole family's driving to this house. And I was thinking, it was pretty gory. And then that's when the titles come up, The Evil Dead Burn. And I was thinking, well, surely if you killed the mortuary bloke, wouldn't the police get involved? And they'd know who the hell it is because they would. It was at a crematorium, so they're going to know. They'd only have to look at the list. But they didn't turn up. They never come up to question anything like that. Anyway, and in this house, eventually everybody becomes at different times. Everybody becomes possessed, and then not possessed. And then they go starts off with the father. He's all strange, and then it just goes into gore and stupidness. But it is primarily you nailed it, Toes, right on the thing. This is probably the most goriest one. There's heads getting smashed and you know, and people decapitated and, you know, just really doesn't even look real. It's just like, come on, man, this is you know, but it just really annoys me when people get chased and thrown downstairs and chucked against walls that shatters the plaster, breaks all the cupboards, and then they can manage to crawl away and get a stagger, you know. And it's like, oh man, it's like, oh, you know, the beast that's got the strength. Oh, I don't know. Sure,
Sean. Houses in movies are very shoddily built. That's
exactly. That is exactly what it must be, Toes. See, you know, they're obviously the lard and plaster stuff is just weak as you know.
They're made of tofu. They're made of tofu, which is why you can just burst through the wall and get up and keep going.
So all I can say about this really is it's damn stupid. And you know, I mean, sometimes I think, and it's just like it's really goes on my ridiculous list. You know, sometimes you can see these things and it's not too bad, but this was like out there, and it was purely for thrills of gore. Sharon, you'd have absolutely adored this movie, not.
I do like my tat every now and then.
Yeah, no, but I feel like this isn't so much tat as it's just nasty.
It's really nasty. It is like the gore factor is you know, blood splattering, you know, people, you know, faces caved in and all sorts of horrible nasty things, you know. But there is a dagger that can do good, which they're after. There's this thing that they're after. The demons are after this thing that they need.
Because of course
they have a good chance of getting it, but then they're like, what we got to do is pick the damn thing up. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so there it is. So 2 stars. It's just like
2 stars for Evil Dead Bird.
Sorry to rave like that.
So the logic things that you couldn't get past the logic.
No, I think the police. I think the police would have been on the family like a shot. Because I mean, if you got, do you know what I mean? Right from the start, it'd be like, you know, and I mean, you're talking, the mortuary assistant is like literally pulled to pieces, you know, and there's like blood everywhere, you know, livers and spleens and all sorts of stuff, like just.
Yeah, and nobody notices.
And nobody notices, you know, or the police don't say, "Ooh, what's happened there?"
You know.
The mortuary, or wherever it is, or the crematorium is like out in the sticks, and no one ever goes there.
You know, Sean, you actually that would make a good list of horror characters in films that just seem to be conveniently forgotten.
Yeah,
it's like the characters in horror films are like, hang on, what did somebody have noticed that person was dead?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you had the lady that took the service, for goodness sake. I'm sure she would have heard something or seen something. You know, anyway, who knows?
Okay. All right, cool. And now let's go back to go back home and stuff like that. And Sean, I know you've been trying to talk about this. I do want to hear so much about the Dynamite Bob 1944, whatever his name was. But there's a film that you've been trying to talk about for a couple of weeks, Christy.
Christy. Yeah,
Christy, which I have finally watched, as I promised I would.
Oh,
so
good.
I finally watched. So I thought that maybe we'd do Christy.
Okay, that sounds good. I would like to say I'm not going to be here for about 3 weeks afterwards, so if I'll say a little bit about Dixie Dynamite afterwards, if that's okay, if we can.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I think we should be able to. All right, cool. So quickly, I'll just give a quick. So Christy tells the story of Christy Martin. This is a film that made a big splash last year because it was It was Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney produced this film, got this film going, and she stars as Christy Martin. And everybody said this was Sydney Sweeney going for an Oscar because she was doing all the Oscar things like, oh, I'm going to put on weight. Oh, I'm going to change my body type. I'm going to go training for ages and everything like that because to play this character, Christy Martin. And Christy Martin is essentially the grandmama of female boxing. When it comes to prize fighting boxing, when it comes to pay-per-view boxing, she did a lot to make sure that she was like the first star. She was the first woman who, she would say, okay, pay-per-view, people are actually going to pay to watch her fights. And Don King will promote her and all that kind of stuff. That's who Christy Martin was. There is a documentary on Netflix called Untold Untold, Dance with the Devil, which tells the Christy Martin story and tells the Christy Martin story very well. So before I watched this film, I knew this story, and that's probably the reason why I never watched the film, because I was like, I know the story, I've seen it in the documentary, I know what's going to happen. And while watching the film, I did have that thing. I was like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, this is the. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Oh, that's gonna happen. Ooh, they put that before that. I don't know. That's different. But I pretty much knew the beats of this story, what was going to happen. And it's played by Sydney Sweeney. She is a girl who lives out in West Virginia. She finds out she has this talent for boxing, and then she ends up under this promoter says, I think you have something, I want to introduce you to a trainer. And she meets this trainer called Jim Martin, who, as you can see, when she starts the film, she's not called Christy Martin, but this guy's called Jim Martin. You can see where this is going. He is quite a bit older than her, but he's her coach and everything like that. And he essentially, they get married. And he's played by Ben Foster. Yeah, and Sean, that's
who? Yeah, I was waiting.
Ben Foster's brilliant.
Yeah,
no, but I agree with you. He doesn't look like Ben Foster. I mean, I've seen the documentary, and he looks like the guy. He looks like the real life Jim Martin. They've done a brilliant job with the makeup. I think I would, but I think you okay. And so she gets married, and it's about what happens in her life and where ends up going. As you can imagine, things might not go quite right. But now let's just go back a bit to go to what I think Sean and I were about to get into, which is a Ben Foster Appreciation Society. Ben Foster is a brilliant actor.
He is.
He's an absolute. I mean, Sydney Sweeney is great in this, and she's good and everything like that. But I just need to take some time to talk about Ben Foster, because Ben Foster's a brilliant actor, and he seems to have developed this talent for playing characters that make your skin crawl. Like male characters that you're kind of like, ooh, I wouldn't want to be in a room alone with him.
Right from the start, really, isn't it? From the very start, you're like, oh, you don't like this.
And this Jim Martin guy, because they have the whole thing about, because it's in real life it isn't it's no secret that Christy Martin is gay, but she ends up getting married to Jim Martin. And the scene in which, shall we say, he proposes, or that they decide to get married, it is so slimy. It is the control and the everything and the way he just goes. Oh my God, it is horrific. It is like, you just feel so bad for her. So I thought, as somebody who's watched the documentary, and I think, Sean, you might be watching the documentary.
Right, I might get, if I get chat with it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, you can
see all the
bits. No, it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. But I thought the film was quite good. I thought it's a biopic. It's a biopic, and it goes through the bum, and this is the bit where the drug starts and everything like that. But I thought that the performances were good. I thought Ben Foster he sells it. Ben Foster sells it.
Yeah.
He has that man has like no vanity. Quite frankly, he's like, I don't want to come across too bad. He doesn't care about coming across bad. He will do it. Yeah, and Sydney Sweeney is good, and I think that they actually did make her. She doesn't look like Christy Martin, but her body and her way she moves, and even like in the boxing scenes, they were very reminiscent of the real life footage that I saw in the documentary. So I thought that you could see that there was a lot of work put into this, and I thought that it wasn't too preachy in its message, even though its message is quite obvious. It wasn't too preachy in it. I thought it was really, really good, which is very akin to the real life Christy Martin.
It's funny, I looked at that. Yeah, in real life, Sydney Sweeney's a lot nicer looking than. I don't mean to, sorry, Christy, but yeah, not the nicest.
Yeah, but who has ever been played by somebody that was less good looking than they are?
Yeah, true. Very true.
You always get a slight don't you? I've never heard of this person. So does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think the film is designed to be. I think both the film and the documentary are designed to be an introduction to her, introduction to why she was important, and an introduction to why this matters, why this whole story even matters anyway. So you don't have to worry about that. But Sharon, you've got Netflix, so I would say, I know you like a documentary. Look for it. It's called Untold, Dance with the Devil.
Okay, Yeah, I'm
Untold,
more likely
Last of the Devil.
to find out the truth before I watch the fiction. So yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I thought that they were really there's a lot of fidelity in this. There's a lot of fidelity in this. Like even to the, shall we say, to the key incident that the whole film builds towards. Even to the key incident, it's kind of like pretty. I was watching, going, yeah, that's pretty much how they described it. That's pretty much how they described it. And it's one of those things where you're like, if someone hadn't told you about it, you would think that couldn't have happened. If it wasn't for the fact that it was documented, you think, no way. A bit like Sean's previous question about how much punishment can a human body take. This is one of the things where you go, no. Okay, I guess that did happen. All right. Okay, but so Sean, I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to say about Christy.
No, I just thought it was really, really good. I think you've covered most things. The acting was superb. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even I think Don King, that wasn't the real Don King, was it?
It wasn't the real Don King, no.
No. So even that was a good cameo performance. I mean, it was like how I picture him. So yeah, no, I thought this was a really class act film. Really enjoyed it, and I would have no hesitation in calling this a 4-star film, a 4-star movie.
Okay, cool. That's cool because I think maybe because I've seen the documentary, I was like a 3, but it is a very good 3. Yeah, it's a very good 3. I think. I'll
call it. Maybe, but I mean, 4's hot. No, I'm going to stick with 4. I'm going to stick to me guns. I liked it a lot. Goes down to Ben Foster, I think.
Yeah, Ben Foster. But also, I mean, okay, Holly, I'm going to run through some of the other people in it. Ethan Embry, Merritt Weaver, and whenever Merritt Weaver is showing up in something, she's good. She is good, and it's got Katie O'Brien in it because obviously there's a gay love story, and it seems like if you're going to have a gay love story, you got to have Katie O'Brien in the film. Yeah. So it's it's the way it works. You're on mute, by the way, Holly, and it's so yeah, and but I think it was quite well done, but also her mother. The way they show the family thing and her mom. Ooh. Yeah,
you're like, why would you? Yeah,
her mom.
I didn't like the mum. Did you?
No. And I think that they did a masterstroke because the mom is played by Merritt Weaver, and so Merritt Weaver is perfect at doing that kind of like, I'm really nice and I'm really polite and I'm really soft spoken, yeah. but then she's gonna do something. Well, it's kind of like, from her point of view, you can totally see that she's being polite and she's being right, and she's being a good Christian woman who is worried about her daughter walking around with that girl. But my God, horrific stuff, man. Horrific stuff. So but everybody's good. So yeah, I'll give you that. All right, cool. So, who do you think has won this week, Netflix or cinema?
I think probably Netflix with the streaming one, yeah, because the cinema one.
Yeah.
Well, no, you give cinema free, yeah, but my dismal Evil Dead bought it right.
It all came down to your 4. It all came down to your 4.
I was going to say, I thought it was the 4 that did it.
The 4 did it, and it's like the 4 is a 2.75. So it reaches 2. So we have 2.75 for Netflix and Friends, 2.5 for cinema. All in all, not a great week, but an okay week.
Yeah, all right, so Sean, I guess it's been down to the World Cup, isn't it? Really. Well, yeah, possibly. I see you've been half an hour and you want to go. So do you want to save it for a few weeks' time? Because I mean, it's going to be on. Or do you want me to do a quick?
If you could do a quick thing on Dick Dynamite 1944, whatever it's called. I think I've probably called it for like 3 different things.
Dick Dynamite 1984, like absolutely brilliant titles to start with. It's a gang of basically Nazis. They've made this virus that turned children into zombies, and they have to call for Dick Dynamite to. And his little crowd of Scottish people, and so you've got the Scottish. They're all like soldiers. So when they go and they fight the Nazis basically, but they've got it's funny. They got all their guns. They got like twin guns. So like the pistols have got like 2 barrels, like and they got it's daft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they've got a Tommy gun and it's got 2 barrels, and all the Mauser pistols are all 2 barrels, and you've got mad scientists. And it was a crowd-funded film. And some bands are in it. And Irvin Welsh is in it. He's sort of come up with some of the money, the guy that wrote Trainspotting. It's a totally Scottish movie. So I think it's all family and friends, and I did see a few cameos from some bands like Rancid and what have you. So but it's just so much fun and so absolutely ridiculously off the wall. And I would like Sharon to see this, and then maybe give me her opinion.
You give me lots of recommendations this evening. I'm
and he is basically playing. So Dick Dynamite is Arnie in Predator, and he's got he talks like Arnie. He's actually like, oh, we must. And the Scottish bloke, they got subtitles for the Scottish bloke when he sort of says to the Nazi, all right, I'll hold him off. So it's got what it means underneath. So the Scottish guy's got subtitles, and there's like a, there's bits from Inglourious Bastard. There's like a scene, so like a bar scene where, like the English actress turns up to and then seduce people, and it's just really daft and silly and proper stereotypical Nazis, the little skinny scientists and big syringes, like this big, but they inject people with massive syringes. So yeah, it's really, really good fun. So, and I had a great time with it. I think it might be a bit mustardy, but a bit like Marmite or whatever they call it.
Yeah, Marmite. Yeah.
But I love it.
Okay.
I thought it was terrific.
On that note, I really need to run.
Because let's go. Thank you for that.
No problem. But enjoy your 3 weeks off, Sean. We'll see you when you get back.
Cheers.
Until next week, when we will see something, I will come back and Holly will figure out her microphone. It's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And there's loads of stuff going to be on, and I'm going to miss it all. Spider-Man, Odyssey, all those films. So Sharon will see the Odyssey before me.
We'll be seeing it.
Okay. All right, cool.
Cheers.
But anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
See you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.